And away we go. It is the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you as always by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com to download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Get down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15%. Get you some chicken dunkers. And also go to the app if you want some delivery. They'll bring it pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop. All right, let's get this thing started. Justin, what's up, buddy? Aaron's taking the night off. We are joined by Bergrick McGowan, or as you guys know him, Justin Berg. Filling in tonight for Aaron, hit me up and said, hey, can I come on and talk some Bearcats? I said, you absolutely can come on and talk some Bearcats. Cincinnati with a 103-76 victory over Miami. They score 50 points in each half. It is the sixth and seventh time they've scored at least 49 points in a half this season. I believe that number was 3 last season, and we're not even to conference play yet. So let's get to it. Berg, what's up, buddy?
It's been a rough last 3 or 4 days for me, my man.
No one agonizes over that game that happened on last Saturday more than you.
Yeah, and I'm just the last 5 years for me have just a lot. I've taken a lot of blows if you think about it. I mean that Nevada game, we were there.
And we don't talk about that, Berg.
Well, sometimes you need to just talk. You need to talk about the traumas sometimes to get past them. Maybe we should talk about that. You know, we never really told that story.
We might talk about it, but nobody wants to hear it. Is the problem?
I'm not talking about the game. We know the game sucked. I'm talking about you and I were at the game.
We were,
and we were sitting right behind Dan and Terry, right at center court of that mother effer. And I think I went down a day or so early, and you were already down there. We went to the game, and then. Yeah, I mean, you're feeling great, and then obviously, then you have that sinking feeling, and it ends bad. Then we just were like, bro, let's just hit the road. This is one of the worst things ever.
Yes, that happened.
Yeah, so
straight to the car.
Right. So then that, and then now 4 years of this is some really one blow to the body, one blow to the crotchal region. The last 5 years. So. Last 3 or 4 days, I was like, I kept focusing on that first half. Like, it's like, God, how do you got your ass kicked last year. How do you fall down by 17 and a half on your home floor? It's just hard to handle. But then, I mean, I'll give them credit that they brought everything they had and got the game even with one possession to go. I mean, that says a lot, but it's hard to, I don't know which way to lean, like, the blame or the credit. But either way, I mean, the last 3 halves, they've scored over 50 points per half. So regardless of anything else in the world, at least it's fun to watch UC score a lot of points and dunk and get steals by Russian guys and go dunk. And this thing, bringing Odi Oguama into the fold, and it's weird that, like, playing Xavier kind of forced their hand to do it. And it was like, oh, shit, like, this is actually probably better than what we were doing. And putting him in more minutes and JD less, but still giving JD some looks. But either way, like, he and Locken together, I mean, that's a lot of size. They were basically lacking size, defense, and rebounding, right?
Yep.
So they just put him in there, and they got all of those things, and their offense is still doing well. So it's interesting that that's where we've landed. But so, all right, I'll stick with it a little bit longer, see what happens.
Well, and come on, like, your problem last year was that they were just hard to watch. Like, there was no ball movement, there was no shot creation, there was very little about anything last year that was fun,
enjoyable. Yeah.
The way that this team right now is starting to come together on offense, like, are they bad defensively at times? Yeah, they're bad defensively at times, but. I think all the years that we've seen teams that were bad on defense or bad on offense that were and really, really good on defense, like, It's not a bad thing to maybe have it flip for a little bit. It's
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of fans would argue that like they've been waiting for something like this. They say I'll sacrifice defense for once if we can just score the shit out of the ball in a fun, entertaining manner. And like I mean, against Arizona they did it, and I mean, obviously they didn't do it in the most anomaly of a half I've ever seen at Northern Kentucky. Which, you know what, like fucking like good for NKU. Like, you know, that's a big win for that program. Like, let them enjoy it. We're going to be like 54-1 against them all time. So like, let them have that one. But you know, so it's weird that this team, like, you keep focusing on their defense and it's like, God, they're so easy to score on and get posted up on and all that. But last year they weren't good at rebounding, right? They were almost worse at rebounding than defense. Yeah. And now they're way better at rebounding. I think putting Oguama in there makes them even better at that. And that's key because, like, they're winning the possession game. I mean, they're getting offensive rebounds and they're not turning it over. And they're forcing turnovers on defense at a pretty good rate. So, like, they're winning this, like, you know how you always want to get more shots than the other team. So, but they're actually shooting a good percentage on those shots. They used to get, like, way more shots, but they'd shoot 39% and have to win 58, 56. So it's like, all right, it'll be a little bit of adventure on the defensive end, but at least the offensive end will be, you know, worth sitting down and enjoying.
How about these numbers, Berg? For the game tonight, the Bearcats shot 63% from the floor, 60% from three, 88.2 from the free throw line. And in the second half alone, they slashed 70, 75, 90.
Against Travis Steele.
Look, Miami's defense is bad.
I know.
Bad.
I don't care who's what. I don't care who's
right?
anything. Travis Steele came here, and the Bearcats scored 103 on him. So at least we get something back in the UC Xavier thing, because Huggins lost to Xavier, right? So that's another thing. But now one of their former coaches came and, you know, got waxed.
So what about it? What about this offense are you enjoying at this point in time? Like, what is standing out to you? Anything?
Yeah, probably like 7 things. First of all,
let's hear them.
Okay. First of all, just the spacing and then the pace that they're playing with overall. They had neither of those things last year. And when you don't have either one of them, man, it is hard to score. And they didn't score last year. They were like 173rd or something in points per possession. And now they're probably in the top 50. It's a huge improvement because they have a lot of space. And so guys, you know, that can, if they move the ball a little bit, they can get angles and get downhill. And then they have Victor Lockett in the paint, who, I mean, is a legit college tall center that can score and block shots and rebound and get like crazy steals and go hammer dunks. Like, who is this guy, Victor Lockett?
So we talked a lot last year about, like, one of the main reasons that this offense was so bad a season ago is they had nobody inside that they could throw the ball to and get a bucket. And it just changes everything if the defense has to react and respect that, doesn't it?
Yeah, and now they have 2 guys that can do that because Landers Nolly can do that.
A little bit, yeah. All right, keep going.
The bottom line is you got to have as many guys as you can that you can throw to and get a bucket, or have them create a good shot for somebody else.
I'm talking about on the block, though, specifically.
I know, exactly. But, I mean, last year, just overall, guys that you could say, hey, can you get a basket? It was just David DeJulius, and he shot a low percentage from 3. So even that was just like, man, hard to handle. But now everybody on the floor. So now, all right, so if you look at their lineup with Oguama on the floor, who can screen and roll, and obviously offensive rebound. His defense is getting better. Even his rim protection, like he's blocking a couple, but he's in good position now. I mean, you can see, like, last year he had a really hard time with that. So give him credit. I mean, he was a good offensive rebounder last year, but the defense was, especially in the post, man, he just couldn't handle anybody. But now he's getting a little better, and he's playing with more force. If you see, like, you know, he's like trying to dunk a lot now. Like, it's great. I mean, that's a good guy to have at the 4. Your 5-man can score inside, not out really yet. Like, I know he hit a 3 the other day, but he doesn't face up a lot, which is fine.
Right.
And then, I mean, dude, Nolly, I mean, look, he's been feast or famine. I mean, unfortunately, he was famine against NKU and Xavier and Ohio State, but pretty much against everybody else, he's wetted. And he's what a smooth cat he is. Like he's got all kinds of moves, and he can hammer dunks and dude, he's what a player. And then obviously you got Dave, who's at another level, man. He's shooting the cream out of the ball right now. I mean, he's at 40 or above from three. I mean, his whole career he just couldn't do it. But I've been saying this since he got here, man. I knew he had it in him to shoot a good percentage. His shot is fine, and he's smooth with that step back and the way he creates separation. And the last thing for him is just getting in the paint a little more. And now that he's shooting a high percentage, he should be able to get by people. But so overall, it is a potent offense. And you know what? I got to hand it to him. Mr. Micah Adams-Woods has made improvements, and he's I think he's a positive out there, at least in this scenario.
Well, he's not being asked to be your second or third guy. He's comfortable as a fourth or fifth option.
Right. And I saw that he's had high assists and low turnovers. And he's not shooting great from the outside, but he's getting in the paint more, and he'll make a layup or two, but he's not forcing anything. You don't need him to. Like last year, you kind of needed him to come up with something because there was nobody else that could score. But now everybody else can score. So pick your spots. And I think that's a good spot for him. So that's a pretty good five. And then Davenport comes in as your sixth man, and it's hey, maybe he'll pop a few. But if not, it's fine, dude. We'll be fine if we don't play him big minutes. And he's probably fine with it because he wants the Bearcats to do well. And that's their top six.
So then I would say with JD, JD was exactly what they like. This is how JD should play what we saw today. He moved the ball when the shot wasn't there. He took the shot when the shot was there. He was efficient. He wasn't.
He made that extra pass. Didn't he make that extra pass from the wing
Josh
to the
Reed
corner?
for a three? Yeah.
Yeah, Josh Reed. Yeah, let's talk about Josh Reed and Daniel Skillings.
Dan is you can see it coming. You can see it coming.
That three he hit off a screen by I forget who, maybe Hensley. That was just like a giant barrel of cream, top of the key three for him. And then he tried to right hand dunk, but someone swatted him, I think, for Miami.
He's trying to catch scalps.
Yeah, but he's been smooth around the basket with he's done reverse layups and left hand coming from the right side layups. I love doing those. It's a fun one for righties. And he does those. He's smooth. He can finish. And his free throw, you can tell he'll be a good free throw shooter, regardless of what his percentage is now. When he just gets more rhythm, dude, I bet he'll be close to 80% from the foul line. And I bet he could be high 30s, if not into the 40s from three, if he's good with his shot selection over the next few years, right? He looks like he's an offensive rebounder. I don't know what kind of ball handler and creator yet he is for others, but that's fine. We don't need to worry about that.
Pretty good ball handler. I think he can improve passing.
He doesn't. It doesn't even matter right now. You just develop that offensive game, and over the course of getting comfortable, he'll be able to have better vision. And you can see in a few years, what a hell of a two guard he could be on both ends. He's gonna be disruptive defensively. He plays hard as shit, and dude, he just knocks one away and goes the other way, and he'll probably do some reverse dunks and stuff. He looks like a player.
Wants to be good, I think, is the important thing with him. He really, really wants to be a good player, which is, I don't think people understand the difference, man. A lot of guys, they're just good because they're good, right? They grew up good at basketball. They're good at basketball. They practice every day, whatever. But Dan is one of those kids that you can tell just has that fire in him that I'm going to be a really, really good basketball player. And you can see it each game that he's out there. You can see that comfort level increasing. And he's got a chance to be exceptional.
Yeah, you could see on his shot. It's just straight up and down, nice. It's just smooth and plenty of arc and rotation. He shoots it with confidence. He shoots those pull-up J's. He seems like he could have a mid-range game. He likes taking it to the hole. By the time he gets stronger and more athletic the next couple of years working with Rayfeld, he's going to be a load. And if he can get to the foul line 7 or 8 times, he could be a 20-point scorer. No doubt about it.
So Miami's got an assistant that is a longtime friend of mine, someone I got to know very well in the recruiting process. He was committed to be a Bearcat. He didn't actually play for the Bearcats. But do you remember the name Christian Smith?
No, I do not.
Christian Smith played in high school with Marcus Teague. He was committed to Cincinnati for a while. He ended up at Indiana State, had a good career at Indiana State. He's since gotten into coaching, and we've remained close over the years. And saw him today, and we were talking right when they got to the arena, and Dan was out there shooting, and he's like, Chad, I've been you watch tape and you do the scout, like this kid's got next. Like he's and it's good to hear that from somebody that's not associated with the program, because we're close. Like we're in it, and we see what
and we've seen guys who have shown promise early on and they didn't pan out, but we thought they might. Yeah. Like Quadri Moore, maybe.
No. No. Nope.
You remember when I interviewed Quadri?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one who's ever done that, probably, and wrote that whole article on him.
Yeah, I remember.
And I did that. Yeah, it was fun talking to him, actually.
But with Dan,
shame he never panned out. All right, go back to Dan Skillings Jr.
With Dan, like there's just this sense, and I hear it from people around the sport. What are you doing?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm doing it on my phone. I should set up my laptop, but I just don't feel like it. I'm exhausted, and just wandering around my kitchen right now. 10:45. The house is asleep. It's nice.
But Dan has this and other people see it too. It's not just something that we see. It's something that other coaches watch tape on UC and they go, you know what? This kid's going to be a damn good player. Big 12, doesn't matter what league. Doesn't matter what league, this kid is going to be an impact guy. And then I think Josh is going to be a really, really good complimentary. He just knows how to play. He's smart. He's got good feel. He can shoot it. He can take it to the rim. He can get to the free throw line. He'll
probably be
really
a smart
excited.
Defender too. I bet you.
Seems
like he doesn't. It doesn't matter like how quick he is. He's just going to be able to. He'll be fine, and he'll learn that. And yeah, he seems like a creator for others too.
Yep.
Good. Yeah. Good. Like you said, good feel. So, I mean, yeah, that's their 2 and 3 moving forward. Like, let's look ahead. I mean, 2 and 3
you
is
throw
them.
Ravon into the mix.
Yeah, so they're going to lose. I mean, Nolly's gone and DeJulius.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Nolly's got a year if he wants it. DeJulius is gone. Fennessy's gone. John Newman's gone. And who am I missing? There's one other that.
Guama?
No, Odie's got a COVID year. And Kalu. Kalu is.
Oh, yeah, Kalu. Okay. So
those four are gone for sure.
Yeah.
And
so
then.
If they didn't add anybody else, then they ever added. So if you include Jizzle and Ravon, and then whoever, so they'll have Hensley back, Locken. So Locken will be the starting 5 next year, and then you have 2 and 3 would be Skillings and Reed more than likely, and then who would the point guard be? I guess Jizzle would Jizzle start as a freshman at point guard. I wonder. I mean,
Micah's got an extra year if he wants it, so that would be interesting, especially with how much he's improved. And then they had a guy in today. They had one of the top JUCO guards in the country, Davion Day Thomas from Kilgore was here tonight, and he's scoring about 20 points a game, shooting over 40% from 3. And at 6 foot, he can cram, like he can really get up and dunk.
Like Robert Pack,
kind of. Yeah, sure.
Nice. Robert Pack.
So
14.
yeah, I mean,
14. Robert Pack.
I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on next year.
I know. Okay, I know. All right. Yeah. So, but I mean, just like conceivably, that's your. I mean, Jizzle could start.
The core is starting
and
to
Ravon
become
could
clear.
Start. Like you could. I wonder if they're good enough that you would start a really young lineup because they're that good. We'll see.
Yeah,
like Ravon at the 4 and Vic at the 5 with just those 4 young fellers and Vic. That'd be really interesting.
Landers does have an option to come back. Like maybe he would want to come back and be the feature guy for a year, since that's kind of Dave this year. But that would be that's a decision that's not going to be made for a while. So
right.
Any more thoughts on Miami on the game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just
not on Miami in particular, but just
no. You mean on the game? Yeah, they just the way they were moving the ball. And just ripping it around, and Miami just couldn't keep up, and they just kept getting good shots, and they were not only were they moving it and popping it around, they were looking to go forward with it as often as they could. Like Hensley caught the ball at the free throw line against their zone a couple of times and just turned and took a hard dribble right at the rim, drew the defender, and then dished it, or even I think he might have shot one. But I mean, that was good aggressive play.
This is something that's driven you nuts for a while, is they just pass the ball around the perimeter without any aggression towards the basket.
Yeah, it's like I want a player, maybe Jizzle James would be this player that if a team's playing you tight, that they would just like make a move one way and then just go right through their shoulder or hip and make the ref call a foul until they would back the F off. And then we get to the bonus and we make a bunch. But that's fine. I mean, this team's shooting the ball so well that maybe I'll just won't pay attention. I'm still going to stress about the free throw rate this year. I need a year off from stressing about the free throw rate. As long as you've known me for the last 6 years, right? That's been my thing, and I'm just going to stop. This thing used to oh man, it's driving me nuts. But this team shoots well enough that I don't feel like they need free throws as much as they did in the past.
Still need them, but like 15 to 17 or 17 attempts, I'll take that from this group. What they got to
right.
do.
I just like on the road is the key. Like if they want to win road games, it can't be like 5. They're going to have to find a way to get to 15 or more on the road. I think just because their defense is not what it usually is, like it's going to be more pressure on getting points every time somehow. And so I feel like you got to increase your odds by getting to the foul line on the road. That's always my thing. But either way, like I said, go back and look at the 5 right now, or look at the 6 core. So then you got the 6 core, you got the 2 freshmen, you got Hensley. Like that's kind of it right now, right? Because no Finney, no Newman.
Yeah.
I mean, so what is that? Is that 9?
It's 9. Okay. A solid 9.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Kalu, I mean, I'm surprised Kalu's not really in the mix.
Got to be tougher. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing from him. Got to be a little bit more physical, a little more strong-minded. Now it'll be interesting to see. He was okay today. Wes coach's decision, DNP, the last couple games. It's always interesting to see if that lights a fire under somebody to get them back to where they need to be, or get them introduced into fully what is expected of if you're going to be on the floor for this program. It's going to be necessary. Right. I think tonight was a reintroduction on Kalu of you weren't doing what was needed. We sat you for a couple games, and now let's introduce you back in and see if the lessons learned are worth 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes per game.
Yeah, but it may not, because I mean Hensley and Oguama. I mean, you got to get them. Like Hensley's actually, I feel like overall, I mean, there's times where he's been timid and indecisive, but like he's hit some threes, and I mean, obviously he's athletic. He just has to keep getting more comfortable out there. I feel like he's obviously a good basketball player. He was ranked in the top 150 for a reason. And he's got to be able to do something to score the ball. And I feel like at some point he'll figure out his way to score. Right now it's just kind of like, oh, I'll catch it and put it in, or, oh, there's a 3. Like he doesn't really get a chance to handle it much. So maybe we'll see in a couple of years. Maybe he'll develop that for next year. We were talking about having a young lineup. Maybe he'll be a junior in the starting lineup. So, but Kalu, I don't think he hasn't played better than either he or Oguama, and Vic's got to play as much as possible. And I mean, Davenport at least deserves a look in the front court. So, there's just not a lot of minutes for Kalu.
Right.
He's going to have to force West to play him.
Yeah,
That's
for
his
sure.
only route. So, I don't know. I mean, what are they now? 7-4?
7-4.
And they got how many more? What, they got Detroit?
They got
and
2 more. They got Detroit and LaSalle, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what a weird schedule. They've had a lot of like teams around the Midwest, and then LaSalle's in there. They don't usually play them. They just played Miami, NKU, all these teams, Cleveland State. So, I don't know. I mean, overall in the non-conference, I mean, it was kind of tepid to like a little better than expected on parts of what happened. Obviously, a lot of hard things to handle. The NKU 11-point half, and obviously the other day. And,
but you're starting to see those dry spells go away.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and the Ohio State game too was a frustrating moment as a fan. I mean, we've lost to them now 5 times in a row, and Xavier 4. So it's like, good Lord, man, you're gonna lose to NKU too. So
the local sweep didn't happen. They beat Miami tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if that even counts at the moment.
No, look, you lose to Miami on the day Wes Miller gets a 6-year, $2.95 million extension.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, they put the most points on Miami that's happened since the 50s or 60s. So
Yeah.
I think it was a statement. But yeah, I guess this league. I mean, obviously Houston's ranked high, and I saw Memphis a little bit
Memphis
against
looks pretty good.
Alabama. Like they got their athleticism is ridiculous, and they got obviously Kendrick Davis, dude. What a stud he is, and he's always tough. Although we've shut him down a couple of times, I feel like we can get to him somehow. But either way, I mean, yeah, they're gonna be good. But I don't know anything about anybody else. I haven't watched any other team in this league yet.
All right, we'll get to that as league
Yeah.
play gets going. Any thoughts on the extension before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's I don't know. Is it early to make an extension like this? Like I don't know. What's the
No, I don't
for
think
coach?
so.
Like what was his original contract? How many years?
So he got 6 years. 6 years is kind of the thing in college basketball now.
Yeah.
So he was going to get something at the end of this season to bump it back out to 6, kind of either way, and especially going into the Big 12, like you want to make sure your guy knows he's taken care of.
Yeah.
I know there was this didn't get a lot of talk in the offseason because Wes didn't pursue any of it, but there were a couple Power 5 jobs that came after him in the offseason. And I think Wes wanted to make it clear, like, I want to be here. You want me to be here. Let's make this thing long-term and lock it down. From my understanding, I don't know the exact number yet, but from what I've heard today, his buyout, if he were to leave and go somewhere else, is astronomical at the start of this. So he made that commitment to UC. UC made a commitment to him. I think it's a two-way street, and I think it's what going into the Big 12, he would have been right there with like Johnny Dawkins as the lowest paid coach in the Big 12 at the rate he was at.
Right.
This puts him towards the middle. He's right around like Josh Pastner in terms.
Josh
of
Pastner is still coaching. Who's he on?
Oh yeah, Georgia Tech.
Okay. So here, what about what Wes said after the Xavier game on the press conference, and he really, I feel like that was sort of galvanizing in a way, and I wonder if he and the administration must have just said they were like, yeah, man, if you believe in this that much, that's how you would speak after a situation like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that said something, and I feel like it's like, yeah. I mean, I want someone that cares that much and is going to try that hard, So it's like, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of luck involved and stuff, but I think hard work and belief that he has, like, I mean, I'll ride with that. And so I'm glad they did that. And yeah, I mean, he's obviously shown that if we like Skillings, and I think we're gonna like Reed. Like so far, we haven't really seen everything about Reed, but I think so far we like.
I think
Skillings.
Sage has a chance to be good. I think the improvement we've seen from Vic has been remarkable.
Yeah, Vic. Yeah, Vic's a ball player, and then obviously DeJulius is shooting a higher percentage in his second year with them, and but I'd say that it's looking at what he's got coming in next year. I mean, so what? Do they still have a few scholarships they can hand out, right? Like they can make this class bigger. I mean, I assume like why not just keep going the high school route, or do you think he was going to go a couple transfers?
I don't think there's going to. I mean, unless you can find a guy like in the coaching change season, there's not a lot left on the high school front. This light is causing me problems here, Berg.
Light?
My ring light right here is causing me issues. There's not much left you can do on the high school front right now. But there could be something come available there, like, after the season, if there's coaching changes and whatever. I think you're more likely it's going to be transfer portal for another couple spots. And then you bring a couple of the guys that have a COVID year, you bring 2 of those guys back, you have 6 spots open, you bring in, 5-6 guys, high school guys, and then, the transfer portal. And then I mean, if they can get Flory Badunga to move to 2023, buddy, I'm going to show a video to you when we get done with this, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll talk.
Flory Badunga. Unbelievable.
Flory Badunga.
Flory Badunga, yeah.
He's number 3 right now. Number 3 in the class of 2024. There's a chance he can move up to 2023.
Wow.
So.
All right. Yeah. Well, and then
All right.
Jizzle, and Rayvon. So all right, there we go. So that's where we're at. Let me take a couple minutes, and I want to give an update on my wife Lauren. Some of you know what happened. Some of you don't know, or you don't know the specific details. At the end of 2020 in October, we were just hanging out at my mom's house in Lebanon, and we were getting ready to leave. We were getting the kids together, and Lauren opened up a door, and just like it was the basement, and she didn't know. I think she must have thought that it was a closet or something, because it was just a door she didn't recognize, and she tumbled down the stairs and was paralyzed. And like I had to go down and get her, and it was like we almost, I don't know if we were gonna lose her or not, but we got her to the hospital, and anyway, it was so that happened, and when she fell, like it was paralyzed from shoulders down, and this is October 4th, 2020. So we had to go down to Atlanta to the Shepherd Center for a while, like 3 or 4 months. In fact, while we were there, the UC Xavier game came on. It was the one with Brandon in the empty arena, and I decided to watch it. I don't know why, but I did. And at one point, I had to throw a pillow at a chair really loud, and like the nurses came in, they were like, "What's going on in here?" I was like, "Effing Xavier," and they looked at me like, "Who?" I'm like, "It's in Georgia."
Don't worry about it.
So we were down there for like 4 months. We came back, and like she went from, so when she got injured, she couldn't move, like not anything below her shoulders. It was crazy, except for like her finger wiggled a little, and then her toe wiggled. So the doctors were like, "Well, I mean, at least it's connected all the way to the ends. I mean, that gives you a shot." And so we've just kind of like, all right, well, look, we have a shot. Let's go for this. And I've just been trying to stick with like, hey, like, you can do this. Like, let's make this happen, and it'll be fine. And so over the course of 2 years and a couple months, she's in a wheelchair, and she can, remember, only her finger removed, but now her whole right arm moves, her whole right hand, and she can use a joystick, and she can start to do stuff like hold a remote and things like that. She can actually grab a pen and write her name. So she can do that. Her left arm, for some reason, looks like nothing really happening over there. It's really weird, just a little. And then her legs, her right leg, she can move both of her legs, her hips, and her core, and all that, and she can feel everything from head to toe. So we got, she's got some stuff, and then but the other day, a couple of days ago, we had her, her physical trainer had her like on the edge of a table, like where we have her sit to get used to sitting again. Like imagine you couldn't move anything, and you got to try to figure out how to sit without being able to like move anything. Like,
yeah.
So obviously we have had to help her this whole time. But the other day, she set her up there, and she held herself up for like 3 minutes, and she had not been able to do that yet. And she's starting to walk, like do walking things, and she obviously can't do it yet by herself, but at least she's like moving her legs a little bit while they're helping her walk. So that's where we're at. But it's been almost 2.5 like crazy years. But at this point, she's still making a lot of progress, and we're still making it happen over here. So I just wanted to give that update. Yeah.
Love to hear it, brother. All right. We've gone about double what we normally do on this show, but Berg hasn't joined us in a while, so he had a lot he wanted to talk about. So we got that all in, and we are we're gonna wrap it up. But you are going to be on. We're gonna have you on a podcast, full length podcast here soon, and get your thoughts as we get into the new year.
All right, I'll be around.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time. We will see you next time. This is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.